Hello Year 4 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Before we start on our new learning, have a look at the flashback 4 in front of you, have a go at each of the questions and don't forget to tell me what this shape in the corner is. Okay, so pause the video and have a go. How did you find that? I'm sure the first few questions were pretty easy because those are things that we've done very recently. First of all, complete the sentences about the coins. So I find it easiest to have a look at my pounds first and then my pence, rather than trying to add them all up together. So I know I've got a £2 coin and a £1 coin. So together that would give me £3. Then I'm going to move on to my pence. I have a 50p coin and a 2p coin. So altogether that gives me 52p. And we know from our previous learning that £3 and 52p can be written as a decimal in pounds, as 3.52 pounds. Question number 2, write 3/4 as a decimal. We know that 1/4 as a decimal is 0.25, so 3 lots of that would be 0.75. Number 3 says how many tenths are equivalent to 30 hundredths. We know with our fractions, to find equivalent fractions we need to do the same thing to the numerator and the denominator. So if I have 31 hundredths and I want to get to 10 as my denominator, what am I going to need to do to my denominator? Exactly, I will need to divide by 10. So what are we also going to do to the numerator, the top number? Perfect, we would also divide the numerator by 10. 30 divided by 10 would give me exactly 3 tenths. So 31 hundredths is equivalent to 3 tenths. Last one is one that we haven't done for a very long time. I haven't done this since September. So rounding 754 to the nearest 100. We know if we're rounding to the nearest 100, we're going to look at the next column down to tell us whether we are rounding up or down. So the next column down from hundredths would be our tens. And our tens is 5. If I've got 5 tens, that means I'm going to be rounding up to the next 100. And the next 100 up would be exactly 800. Well done. And that shape in the corner is a rectangle. Perfect. So, today we are going to be thinking about estimating money. We have done some estimating before, but not with money. What did we use to help us with our estimating before? And I'll give you a clue. It's something we've already done today in our flashback 4. Well done. We're going to use rounding to help us with our estimating. Remember, estimating is finding a rough answer, so we don't want to find exactly, we want to know roughly where it would be. So we need to learn how we're going to be estimating and rounding with our money. So let's work out how we're going to round this. We've got £1.30. Where on that number line would that go? Well done, it would go about here probably, in between the £1 and the £1.50. Remembering that the £1.50 is the midpoint between the £1 and the £2. So if £1.30 would go here, which whole pound is that closer to? Remembering the whole pounds would be numbers that you could make using just pound coins. So the £1.50 would not be a whole pound because you would need a 50p to get there. So our whole pounds on this number line would be the £1 and the £2. Which one is it closer to? Well done, it's closer to the £1. So £1.30 rounded to the nearest pound would be £1. And we can't forget to always put our unit of measure on there, so I put my pound sign to show that it's £1, not just one. So have a go with this number line and look at what those missing numbers might be in my number line. Well done. Hopefully you've worked out that each one would be going up by 10 pence, or 1/10 each time. So we'd have our £5, then we'd have £5.10, £5.20, £5.30, £5.40, £5.50, excuse my dodgy writing, £5.60, £5.70, and £5. I've not done this very well, have I? Nope. No, I forgot I already had my 50 there, so that's 60, 70, 80, and £5.90. What am I like? So, well, that is very dodgy writing, I apologise. Have a look at all of those numbers on that number line. Which numbers do you think would round up to £6? Which ones on that number line are closer to the £6? Perfect. So we know that the £5.90 is closer to the £6. So is the £5.80, £5.70 and the £5.60, because they are all past the midpoint, which means they are closer to the £6 than they are to the £5. So which numbers on that number line would round out to the £5? Perfect, well done. The £5.10 is closer to the £5, as is the £5.20, £5.30 and the £5.40. So all of those ones would round to £5 because they are closer to the £5. Now what do you notice about all the ones that round to the £6 and all the ones that round to the £5? We'll come back to this in a minute and talk about where the £5.50 would go. So, thinking about what we've just done, which column do you think we're going to be looking at when we're rounding to the nearest pound? But before that, there's something I've missed out here. Have a look at my place value chart. What have I missed out on it? That's right, I've missed out the decimal place. And it's really important I put the decimal point in there, because if I didn't have these columns, it would just look like 135. So it's really important I put that decimal point in there so that everybody knows that is 1.35, not 135. So which column do you think we're going to be looking at? If we go back to our original number line, we know that £1.35 would be just after the £1.30. So we know that that's still closer to the £1 than the £2. So we have rounded down. Ooh, let's just find it again. So which column do you think we're going to be looking at to tell us whether we are rounding up or down? Well done, we're going to be looking at the tenths column to tell us if we're rounding up or down. And we know from our previous rounding that if that column has a 1, 2, 3 or 4, we'll be rounding down. If it's got a 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, it would round up. So now that we know that, let's go back to this number line. Would £5.50 round up to £6 or round down to £5? Exactly. That number in the digit in the tenths column is a 5, and that shows us we're going to round up to the £6. So that one rounds up 2. So, now that we know all of that, if I can find the actual next page, let's have a go at this question on your own and we'll come back together. If you want to draw out a number line to help you, absolutely do that. Round £3.87 to the nearest whole pound. If you want to draw those place value columns on there, have a look. Okay, so we know that £3.87 would round up because the value of the tenths column is an 8, and that shows us we're going to round up. If we have a look on a number line, we know that the next one up would be £4. Okay, so £3.87 rounded to the nearest whole pound would be £4. Now, I've had a go at a question here, but I'm not sure I've got it right, so I need you to check for me. I've rounded £7.38 up to £8 because an 8 means that we round up. I've got an 8 in there, so I think that means I've got to round up. Am I correct? So what mistake have I made? So I've accidentally looked at the hundredths column rather than the tenths column to tell me whether I'm rounding up or down. So if I look at the tenths column instead, we've got a digit 3 in there. And that tells me I'm going to round down. Well done. So if I'm rounding down, would it go to £7 or £6? Because if I'm rounding down, I've got a 7 here and it's got to go down, so surely that means it's going to go to £6. Let's draw out a number line to check. If I draw out a number line, and here's my £7.38, what whole pound would come before that? Well done, it would be £7, because £7 on its own has got to come before the £7.38. Well done if you spotted my mistake there. Okay, so I've got another question for you. It's a true or false question. So have a look. Knowing that 5 add 15 equals 20 will help me to estimate the cost of the 2 toys. The teddy bear is costing me £5.40 and the car is costing me £14.65. Will knowing 5 add 15 equals 20 help me to estimate the cost of the 2 toys? Okay, if you guessed that it was true, well hopefully not guessed but worked out that it is true, you are correct. Because if we round £5.40, it would be rounded to £5 because our value of our tenths column is a 4, so we're rounding down. And £14.65 would be rounded up to 15 because the value of my tenths column is a 6. So altogether, the estimated total is £20 because £5 add £15 is 20. So well done if you got that one right. So now have a go at this one on your own. Estimate the total cost of these items. Hope you enjoy my beautiful drawings. We've got a t-shirt here that costs us £3.72. A pair of trousers that's costing us £5.32. And a dress that is costing us £2.38. Very cheap dress. So have a think about what we're going to need to do first in order to estimate the total cost. That's right, we're going to need to round each item to the nearest whole pound first. And then we can add them up to estimate the total cost, to get a rough guess of the cost. So, £3.72 rounded to the nearest pound. Well done if you worked out it is £4. because we've looked at our tenths column, which is a 7. That's telling us we're rounding up. Having a look at the trousers, £5.32 rounded to the nearest pound would be, well done, £5. Because my value of my tenths column is a 3, which means it's going to be rounding down. And what about my dress? £2.38 rounded to the nearest whole pound would be, well done, £2. Because the value of my tenths column is a 3, which means we're rounding down, even though my hundredths column is bigger, or the digit in the value on the hundredths column is bigger. Because even though there's only 3 tenths, tenths are bigger than hundredths. So even though there's less of them, it's still a greater value overall. So that's what each of the items are, roughly. So altogether, what would my estimate be for the total cost of these clothes? What will I need to do? Well done. I'm going to need to add them all up. 4 add 5 add 2. Well, I know 4 and 5 is 9. Add another 2 on would be £11. So my estimate for these 3 would be £11. Okay, well done. I hope you've understood that, and do feel free to watch back any bits that you're not quite sure on. Now have a go at the estimating money worksheet, which you will find on the school website. Okay, good luck. Bye.